Hello and welcome to this presentation on how to take charge of your mental health. My name is Tracy and I'm a certified life coach and nutrition advisor. I work in helping people overcome physical and mental health issues naturally. And today we'll be talking about how you can take charge of your mental health. Just one note, if you're taking medication for anxiety or depression, don't stop taking this based on something I say in this presentation. Coming off this type of medication should be done under the supervision of a qualified professional. What you will learn in this presentation: nurturing your own mental health habits and routines, managing stress and anxiety, burnout, and support. So as you go down the road of improving your mental health, you might have come across this topic of nurturing your own mental health. This means you work on yourself and your mindset, do what you can each day to manage your own mental health. To nurture your mental health, it first requires facing up to your life as it is today, at this very moment. And you want to get to a place where you aren't constantly trying to get to the next level, especially if it's causing you stress. Of course, there is a place for striving for improvement, but sometimes we set unrealistic targets for ourselves. This can be anything from in your life, from physical appearance to your habits, your profession, personal relationships, and of course, your mental health. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself to constantly change and be better, and just acknowledge how things are for a change. And take a look at what's good in your life. It might surprise you. Have a scheduled me time. Yes, we're talking about self-care here. Just because it's become a trending topic the last few years, it doesn't mean it isn't important and very valuable. Self-care is nothing more than your me time, activities that you choose to do for your own happiness, contentment, health, and fulfillment. When thinking about self-care, don't rely so much on what others choose to do. Self-care is a very personal thing, so the activities you choose to do during your me time might be completely different from someone else. It can be completing an art project, doing a puzzle, watching your favorite show, taking a nap, going for a walk, or taking a nice relaxing bath. There are no limits and no right or wrong ways to do it. Log off and find relaxing activities. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your own mental health is to log off. Turn the phone off, shut off the television, and close your computer. It is not uncommon for social media and a constant flux of news and opinions to harm your mental health without realizing it. If you find that you get angry, sad, frustrated, or you feel inferior when you go on Instagram or Facebook, or you're comparing your life to others all the time, then it's time to take more breaks from it. Give your mind a break and focus on other activities. Mental health, habits, and routines. To start nurturing your mental health, it all begins with your daily habits and routines. Here are some things to consider, both with the bad habits you want to avoid and new healthy habits that improve your mental health. Bad mental health habits to avoid. Well, while there are some amazing daily habits and rituals that can help improve your mental health, there are also some that might be more damaging than you might realize. Many of these are subtle, but they can make a difference in the long run. Lack of exercise and proper diet. Your daily exercise and eating habits can make a difference in how you feel emotionally and mentally. I'm not saying you have to have a rigid workout routine or stick to a restrictive diet, but you do want to take good care of your body because your body affects your mind. Healthy, nutrient-dense foods help you feel better and give you more energy. Plus, some eating habits can actually make anxiety worse, including having a lot of caffeine, sugar, or refined carbohydrates. Exercise is a wonderful way to reduce anxiety, help with stress, and clear your mind. Perfectionism and taking yourself too seriously. Now, many people joke about how they are perfectionists and everything needs to be perfect and done exactly how they want it. But you might find that it's actually severely impacting your life and not in a good way if this applies to you. Now is the time to stop expecting perfection and feeling like a failure just because you didn't do everything on your list or you didn't do it exactly 100% perfect. No one is perfect, so this is completely unreasonable. We don't live in a black or white world, we live in a grey world. So find what's in the middle, a comfortable place where you know you work hard and have responsibilities, but you also let yourself have some fun and are open-minded about the results. Learn to laugh at yourself and treat life more as a game than a serious activity. You might find you enjoy yourself much more. Hiding from your emotional problems with stimulants. It's not uncommon to deal, quote unquote, with mental health issues by avoiding them entirely. Far too many people do this and don't even realize the ramifications. But if you're relying on stimulants to deal with your emotions or mental state, like smoking, drinking heavily, or relying on caffeine for energy, you're actually hurting yourself in the long run. With alcohol, it's a depressant, so it might be fun while you're drinking, but once you sober up, you'll feel much worse. Overuse of social media. While using social media definitely has its uses and can be fun, it can also be a bad habit that is actually hurting your mental health. If you're someone that just checks in every once in a while or when you get notifications, it's probably not a bad habit for you. For people who check it constantly and whose notifications stress them out, is definitely something to start reducing in your daily life. Adopt a mental health routine. A daily mental health routine is one where you are able to focus on yourself, practice some self-care, and reduce stress while also working on that work-life balance. It might sound like a lot to start with, but if you stick to a routine and you change one or two things at a time, it will turn into daily healthy habits you don't even have to think twice about. Here are some of the top reasons you should consider creating a mental health routine. It helps keep anxiety low. If you get anxious, your routine might not cure it, but it can definitely help with those feelings and anxiety that pop up from bad habits. The routine you have each day can either help or hurt you, but often it does both. You might think that jumping on social media first thing in the morning is helpful to helping you to get it out of the way before work, but this might be increasing your anxiety and stress. With a mental health routine, you can create a healthier morning routine that gives your mind a break and lets you wake up slowly without all of that social media noise. Manage daily stress. In addition to helping with anxiety, having a mental health routine can also reduce stress. Just think of how much stress you add to your day simply by not getting everything done, not being aware of what you need to do, or having a poor work-life balance. This is even more important if you work from home, but any profession needs some structure. With your daily routine, it's not just about your morning routine, but the different habits you have throughout the day. From choosing to eat lunch outside instead of in your office at your desk, to fitting in some exercise. You can add these little habits that are good for your mental health and reduce stress at the same time. Build strong, healthy habits. With a mental health routine you commit to every day, it includes healthy habits that aren't just good for your mind, but your body as well. It's not uncommon to add healthy habits that are amazing for your overall wellness. For example, many people have started adding yoga or morning stretching to their wake-up routine. This reduces stress and anxiety, helps you get a healthy start to the day without too much intensity, and also helps improve your physical health as well. And stretching at the end of the day is a good way to relax and prepare you for bed. How changing your mindset can help with your mental health. If you're currently dealing with issues such as feeling depressed, anxious thoughts, or a lot of emotional stress in your life, working on your mindset can do wonders. It's not a quick fix, but it does help a lot with managing your mental state on a daily basis. How and why mindset matters when it comes to mental health. So what is mindset? Is your mind set? Simply put, it's the pattern and way you think about everything in life and the world at large. It's the set of established values someone has about something. It can be as simple as what your thought process is on a fun night out with friends, and as deep as how you process severe loss and trauma. Everyone has a different pattern of thoughts and emotions tied into their mindset. It's also possible to change your mindset, which can ultimately improve your mental health. When it comes to mental health, you are going to work on your fixed versus growth mindset, which allows you to change how you think about progress and what can be improved in your life. You have the power over your mindset. Yes, you can absolutely change your own mindset. You are in control of yourself. You can change your mind. I'm not saying it's easy, but it can be done. It gives you the possibility of being able to control how you think about and handle your life. Sometimes it helps to discuss your mindset with someone else. That's what business coaches and life coaches are all about. They help you look at your mindset and see how it can be changed. Understanding fixed versus growth mindsets. While there are many ways to change your mindset in order to improve your mental health, the fixed versus growth mindset is a great place to start. Many people develop a fixed mindset without realizing it. This means most of a person's ideas can't be changed, or at least not yet. They have certain beliefs and think that what they know and understand and experience is just what they were born with, or what they grew up with. With a growth mindset, it's the opposite. You understand that the right education, being open to change, anyone can change, even your mental health. You can look at things differently. You aren't stuck in this cycle. Managing stress and anxiety. What is stress and anxiety? Stress and anxiety go hand in hand. You're stressed about something and become anxious, or you're anxious about something and this causes stress. Stress can be defined as mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or demanding circumstances. Anxiety is defined as feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease about something with an uncertain outcome. Both stress and anxiety can be short-term or long-term. Short-term stress and anxiety. This is stress and or anxiety which occurs because of a specific situation that is occurring or about to occur. For example, an upcoming job interview can cause a person to feel anxious. Having to complete a project by the end of the day could be stressful. Taking an exam, meeting someone for the first time. The key thing is, once that short time is over, the stress and anxiety lifts. Long-term stress and anxiety. When a person is constantly under stress, it can be very uncomfortable and will often create anxiety. Situations in life can trigger stress or anxiety, and then it feels like there's no end to it. Emotional trauma is one thing that can trigger either stress or anxiety. Financial problems are a common cause of long-term stress, especially when there seems to be no way out. Running a business can cause long-term stress. Long-term stress and anxiety takes a toll on a person mentally and physically, often leading to weight gain or even weight loss. It can cause insomnia, which in turn causes more stress, and it's a vicious cycle. Ideas to deal with stress and anxiety. One thing that can help with anxiety is using a journal, but it can feel confusing when you aren't sure how to actually use a journal. Do you write whatever you're thinking? Is it meant to be used as a diary? Do you write about gratitude or use writing prompts? Well, the answer to it is yes, all of that. But there are no rules. The best plan is to just start writing, and then you'll find what's best for you. Write down your thoughts, ideas, and dreams as a starting point. Get these thoughts out of your mind and onto paper can help you get them into perspective. Do something you used to enjoy doing as a kid. One way to help relieve stress and anxiety is finding a creative outlook by thinking about what you enjoyed doing as a kid. Think of it as, at first, as a broad generalization like drawing, painting, playing music, dancing, really anything creative. And from there, you can figure out the specifics. Maybe you liked learning new forms of art rather than sticking to one thing. You enjoyed writing poetry or short stories or loved coloring. Anything you enjoyed as a kid could be a sign of what you might enjoy as an adult, even if it's slightly different. Take it to the next level and give it a try right now. You will reduce stress and anxiety, will be a lot easier to manage. Music and dance. People often think of being creative as having to be artistic and create something like art or crafts, but music and dance can also be part of the creative arts. Music and dance can lift your mood amazingly and relieve stress and anxiety. From listening to music during your daily self-care routine to dancing it out in your living room, it's definitely worth exploring. Learn something new. This is also a great time to learn something new, whether it's a form of art you've always been curious about or taking a photography class to brush up on your skills. Make a list of the different creative activities you've been curious about. Maybe you have a fancy camera like I do, but you don't know about all the settings like I don't. Or you have always wanted to try making pottery or ceramics. There are classes online and in person for just about anything, so let your imagination run wild. Being creative doesn't require being artistic. So don't shy away from finding a creative outlet just because you don't consider yourself to be artistic. First of all, art is subjective, so what you personally love might not be what someone else loves and vice versa. When it comes to stress and anxiety, you aren't trying to be perfect. You are simply finding a hobby or activity that improves your mood, helps distract you, and gives you something to do just for you. Other artistic endeavors can be gardening, cooking, knitting, anything where you are creating something. Burnout and support. Warning signs that you are headed for burnout. So people often say they have burnout just to describe any feeling of being stressed, overwhelmed, or overworked. But the term is often used too generally, whereas real burnout is an actual state of complete emotional and mental exhaustion. You know, when you're just lying on the sofa and you cannot move, you are so exhausted. You can't get out of bed in the morning. Now, if you don't recognize it and start to deal with burnout, it can lead to a lot of negative consequences in your personal and professional life and make it much harder to get out of it. So here are some of the warning signs that you might be facing burnout. It's getting harder to complete simple tasks. When you complete the same task several times, you know approximately how long it takes you to complete and how difficult it is. But when you suddenly take 2 to 3 times longer to finish that same task, we can't seem to focus long enough to get it done. That's definitely a warning sign that something's wrong. Don't ignore these moments when it's hard to do even the simplest of things that you used to breeze right through. It can be a sign that something else is going on. You have severe mood or behavioral changes. There are many reasons to have mood shifts or behavioral changes like stress, anxiety, but burnout can also be added to this list. You should never ignore changes with your mood, attitude, or behaviors. Maybe you're falling back into unhealthy habits and it's become a crutch for dealing with your negative emotions. Or you're getting irritable and angry at your loved ones at the drop of a hat. Sometimes when you face burnout, the stress can overpower your logical thinking and it becomes harder to keep your cool. Lack of energy or severe fatigue. Have you noticed that it takes all your energy just to take a shower or get in your car to run simple errands? Among other things, this could be a warning sign of burnout. But first, check for physical reasons for the fatigue or energy loss. This could be diet changes, lack of sleep, or perhaps you're just getting over an illness. If you've ruled out the physical reasons, it's time to consider your mental health and see if you might be leading toward burnout. So ways to rest when you're dealing with burnout and overwhelm. When people talk about mental health, you might assume it's only about severe stress or mental issues like anxiety and depression. But it's actually about your general mental state at any given time. We all have a mind. We all have mental health. It's either in good health or bad health or somewhere in between. Mental health is affected if you're overwhelmed in your life and facing burnout. It's just as important to rest when you have burnout as if you're dealing with a physical condition. Here are some of the tips for figuring out how to rest your mind and body. Find your stressors. Before you can get out of overwhelm and burnout, you need to first understand what is causing the overwhelm or burnout in the first place. This is in the form of your stressors or triggers. A stressor or trigger is something that is causing you to feel more overwhelmed or anxious throughout the day. There is always a cause, and this is what you need to look for. Is something in your life different right now? Maybe your loved ones have been more demanding. You aren't taking enough breaks, or work has gotten chaotic. Or maybe you connected with some toxic people who are causing you a lot of harm in your life. It can be anything from your job to your home life to the people you're around. Emotional trauma can also be a trigger, such as the loss of a friend or a loved one. Take a break from work if you can. Whilst this isn't always an option, try to take a break from work in whatever form you're able to. This, of course, is a privilege not everyone has, but if you do, take advantage of it. Take a personal day where you don't even think about work and might even get out of your house for a whole day. If taking a day off work isn't an option, then make a plan to take a day out at the weekend or go on a long weekend trip. Try to lighten your workload. Have a look at your work tasks and see if there are any that could be delegated to other people. Or if you can move your schedule around to have a few days a week that aren't quite as hectic as all the others. Learn how to say no. Learning how to say no is a beautiful thing and can benefit you in so many ways, beginning with helping you to rest from burnout. This might be personal obligations or people in your life who are always asking for your help, or work being more demanding. Burnout can happen in such subtle ways where you think you're just helping out a friend and you don't realize how much it's impacting your own life. This doesn't mean you should say no to everything and become someone who stops all the time, but take a note of all the things that you're saying yes to and see if you could say no to some of them. Find ways to practice daily self-care. Self-care doesn't need to be overly complicated or cost any money. It can be as simple as going for a walk after dinner, sitting in your office with the door closed during your lunch break, or reading a book in the evenings instead of watching TV. It could be pampering yourself at the weekend with a facial at home or at a spa. Taking care of yourself, taking care of number one, means you're then available to take care of and help others. Finding a support system for good and bad days. When you're struggling, it often feels like you need to keep it all to yourself. It can be difficult reaching out and knowing who to reach out to. But having a good support system is important, not just on your bad days, but your good mental health days too. And you can be there for someone else who's having problems. Start with people you already know who support you. One of the hardest things about finding a support system for your mental health is to know who to turn to, especially when you aren't sure how to meet the right people. But don't worry, for now, you can consider the people you already know. Who in your life now is someone you can easily talk to? Maybe it's someone who already understands what you're going through because they've experienced the same thing. Or it's someone you feel you can open up to and who won't judge you. It might be one person or a small group of friends, family members, colleagues, or even neighbors. The great thing about your support system is that you can support them as well. Reach out to local groups. When you feel ready to get out of your own circle of loved ones, local groups are an excellent way to find like-minded people. Taking part in group activities you enjoy can also help you to meet new people who might struggle with the same issues that you do. This could include charity work, your local church, or even getting involved in the local litter pick where people are cleaning up the neighborhood. Working alongside people is a great way to make new friends and contacts, and it gives you something worthwhile to do. Don't hesitate to get professional help. One important factor to bear in mind is that mental health issues may have a physical cause. Therefore, it's a good idea to visit a doctor, especially one who is trained in nutrition and hormones, who can see if there's an issue with your thyroid, adrenals, basic nutrition, etc. By balancing a good, healthy diet with self-care and other good mental health habits, it can help you get control of your emotional well-being and mental health. Another professional who can help is a life coach. A life coach can help you establish goals, look at what's holding you back, work out your strengths and weaknesses in all areas of your life. If you have goals and you're actively working towards these goals, you are less likely to feel stressed and anxious. So that's the end of this presentation, and I want to thank you for listening. I hope you found the information useful and you can put it to use in your life. If you're interested in going further, I have 2 programs to recommend, which you'll find on my website. One is the 10-day stress cleanse. This is a 10-day course, which gives you a practical tool to use each day. This is a free course, and each day you get this one piece of information and something you can do. And it's something that I've used myself. The other one is called Hit the Reset, and this covers 5 areas of your life where you can hit the reset button and start living a happier, less stressed life. So to find out more about these programs, visit www.lifeimprovement.co.uk. Thanks again for listening. Bye for now.